Word up, analyst, special guest of the day, Dwan Howard, better known by his stage name, Curtis King. He's an American hip-hop recording artist, record producer, straight out of Inland Empire, signed to Black Cloud Music. It's produced for Murs, Noah James, Ab-Soul, Glasses, Malone, Mac 10. He actually did Murs and D1's project. He's the Christian, I'm the rapper, which I'm on, which is really dope. So we have rapper, producer, YouTuber, maven, direct-to-consumer success story, Curtis King. Thank you for being here, man.
Hold, no problem. ChatGPT provides some of them details because some of them was a little bit outdated. I'm not currently signed to anybody right now.
Oh, your Wikipedia did.
Oh, you know what? Damn it, Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's not even ChatGPT. It's your Wikipedia.
I'm on Wikipedia's head. Yeah. I'm completely independent. I did spend some time with Black Cloud and, man, I'm actually originally from Carson, California. I spent a lot of time in the Inland Empire over the last, I say 10, 12 years. But that's where I get half of my namesake. Curtis King comes from Curtis Middle School in Carson, California. So I always try to make sure that, my folks out there in Delamo understand that I'm always repping for the hometown and the home turf. But I am an alien that has found many different places to call home.
That's what's up. I mean, they're all Southern California.
Yeah, nowadays in this climate, you can't play with those where you're from questions.
Right.
Nowadays, it's like, oh yeah, Curtis King, you okay? You just an Inland Empire, huh? You just gonna forget about us and everything that we contributed to who you are, huh? Okay, cool. So I'm very, very cognizant of those kind of things nowadays. But I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, man. I think your story arc is just dynamic, impressive, and so interesting. I mean, even going from how we met, which was more as a face forward artist, to everything that you built with your YouTube channel, the information that you provide to people, the DIYer movement. I think you had an album called DI. I think that might have been the album that we met under. It might have been.
Maybe. Usually that or Raging Waters. I know at that time I got introduced to you through my former manager, but my guy Salas had to make the introduction. And honestly, in all of those media runs that I was doing, yours was the one that didn't feel like a media run. It felt like I met a new friend at that point because I remember you brainstorming with me as an artist, and you got to understand a lot of this stuff in terms of visiting the actual platform I went to was very new to me. So meeting somebody like you that makes me feel like I'm not crazy, first of all, because, I'm saying, there's folks in here that look like me, but then also too, a lot of the questions you were asking showed just your tact and your details and how much you cared about cultural nuance. And those are things that, my music is loaded with. I mean, I used to go by Baby Sinbad for a reason. And for a lot of people, they're like, I don't get it. Is that the pirate from the cartoons? Like, you're not kosher. You
not kosher. About you literally look like you could be Baby Sinbad.
Low key. And you know what's crazy? One of his kids hit me up one time and was like, I didn't know how to feel about it at first, but it's kind of funny now. And, much props. But man, it was funny because at that time period, when I had a flat top, I had like the thrift shop clothes. I was really trying to find my branding as an artist. And, a lot of my music was very nostalgic and people would tell me that. And it was literally like the writing was on the wall to continue to do that. I did that. And I kid you not, every time Sinbad, and, nothing but love to him now because I know that he was going through some health issues. But every time he performed at like the Ontario Laugh Factory, people were tagging me like, they go, yo, daddy. Your daddy's performing. You gonna go see him? I'm like, shut up. I did it one time.
That is so funny. So yeah, I mean, look, you're having a big week right now. You're just on the cover of, how do you pronounce that? How do you pronounce it?
Trade Magazine. Trade Magazine.
Trade Magazine.
My first cover, man. Only took 20 years. My first cover, man. I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity. So yeah, it's been a great week. It's been a great couple months. Honestly, with the most successful my YouTube has been. Fully back into making music. It's an incredible balancing act that nobody has been able to teach because we're still in the very early stages of what that even means to be a content creator / artist who is actively doing both. It seems like most artists that you see that get into the content space, they kind of go like an all or nothing type of point of view, and they just dive all the way in, kind of leave the music off to the side. And that's been something that is the driving force for me no matter what I'm doing. If I'm not being creative within music, a lot of this stuff really doesn't make any sense, even if it's paying the bills.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. I really think that every artist should do news on themselves. And
Yeah, that was a bar.
moving into a very artist-centric, super fan-focused music climate, music industry climate. A super fan is someone who's is defined by any fan that's willing to spend money on an artist in 5 or more different ways. And so maximizing, the super fan focus going forward is paramount for any artist. In my opinion, I think if you're not doing things like that, you are doing yourself a disservice. And what you've built with the DIYer family, I think it's fair to say, the DIYer campaign is just, I think it speaks to where everything is going.
Right. And it's crazy because I had to go through a lot of experiences to kind of unlearn a lot of things I learned as an artist. When I was an artist full time, when I first met you, I didn't really understand the nature of business, right? If anything, the conversation was kind of off-putting because of how much it could, I guess, change the art. And that was something I was like, no, I don't want no pieces of it unless someone understands the art, yada, yada, yada. But fast forward now, I have even a more richer appreciation for the art form, but I also understand that business can be an art form as well. But it took me having a YouTube channel before I understood how to properly run a business, how to, sequence my emails and, get lead magnets and just what these terms even mean and how they can ultimately set me up to win in an automated way, how to create systems. These are things that as an artist, I think people tend to talk over the heads of artists or tend to baby them so they don't offer this information. But I've always been somebody that's been a marketing mind. So because of my work as a YouTuber, it led me to doing courses and releasing products and sound packs. And because of that, that was sort of my schooling as now I approach this new phase of my artist or this new era of my artistry. And man, I'm telling you right now that this is beautiful because of that. Because now when I'm taking chances, I'm taking very educated chances. I know it may seem sometimes like I'm just, some renegade just going crazy, but it's like, no, that's not my intent. My intent is to challenge the norms that were established by major labels that nobody ever questioned. We all follow these models. Like, what is the purpose of a music video in 2024 when we spend most of our time on social media? Could I accomplish the same thing by creating 20 to 30 pieces of content for every single verse on an album with less budget and then also with more legs because of the way that it's being consumed, especially when you think about when you have a music video, you chop it up into vertical videos to promote it. So I'm just really trying to find as many things that I can, first of all, to satisfy my listeners, but also build up a business that I can expand and scale.
I mean, you took a creative approach, or you're taking a creative approach. I saw you posted this yesterday. You said, if you streaming platforms want to pay a fraction of a penny for my art, how about I give y'all asses a fraction of a song? Break down what that is, because there's more to it than just this post.
There's just more to it than just my petty Murphiness. So in October of last year, after doing a bunch of reaction videos to some of the developments going on with Spotify, specifically this threshold system where if you don't make up to 1,000 streams unique, they get to determine what that means, unique listeners, you won't get paid. And if you meet that threshold, you only get paid after you've met the threshold. Now, to some people, they look at that and say, that's not a big deal. I get the 1,000 streams when I just sneeze. It's really easy to do. What they don't understand is because of that unique listener threshold, it creates an obstacle they cannot see. Secondly, music started getting removed left and right. And it was like that Spider-Man meme. Spotify was looking at DistroKid and the distributors and saying, hey, it's their fault, man. I don't know what's going on, why they took your music down, bro. It's not my fault. Don't beat me up. And then DistroKid was turning around and saying, no, Spotify sent us this. And I'm like, I may not look like a street dude, right? I talk very proper and all this stuff they want to try to put on me. I may not look like, I know when I'm getting hustled. I know the code. So when I started looking at these fools playing the game they're playing, and then when I started to see more popular artists turning on less popular artists, I said, this feels like Jim Crow in the music industry. So I looked at this and I was like, hold on, let's back up and have a really good thought about this. Then I started revisiting, why did Prince leave streaming in 2015? Oh, he left streaming to go direct to consumer for his website. And he was able to generate so much income because he had aggressive lawyers that took music down off of YouTube and these platforms, and because he knew how to run a business, a music business. So that tweet that you see there is me now, 7 months into having my music removed from streaming. I don't miss it. I can tell you right now, I made $11,000 in that duration of time going direct to consumer, just using Bandcamp and my website. But this tweet right here is me continuing to even challenge my own notions. More specifically, I said, all right, streaming wants to pay for a fraction of a cent for every stream. Okay, cool. Let me play a game with you then. How about this? How about I give you intro, verse, chorus, and then at the end of it, I just released a song that did this right now called DIY's versus Everybody. It says, boom, damn. This song got a second verse, but you're not going to get this on streaming right now. Matter of fact, I call this place a thrift shop. I don't even know why you over here at the thrift shop. You know, and I just have a real conversation with my listeners that's like, damn, this is so Curtis King. But it's like, no, I should have contact with you. If you're a real human being and not a bot, like I suspect most of Spotify is, if you're not a bot, I should be able to talk to you and say, yo, what is your email? Hey, I want to let you know when I have shows. Why do I have to use Spotify as a middleman to talk to the people that I'm redirecting traffic here to get, right? So I just use that as like I get in a weird, you know, we talk about this stuff offline all the time, but I'm like, this is like when you hear about slaves on the plantation singing Negro spirituals with double entendres and hidden meanings. I feel like this is what I have an opportunity to do. It's like, oh, I can't talk to my people? Bet. You have a 30-second limitation? Bet. Oh, some of you even got a minute limitation? Bet. I'm going to spend this a whole second verse just talking to them and letting them know this is not a punishment to you that I took my music from streaming. This is a respect for my craft. I'm pro-independence, not anti-industry. I'm just pro-independence, and I really need your support. But if you want to go to the thrift shop, that's cool. But if you come to the Gucci store, we serve you water. Ain't no lines. Ain't no ads. We don't be all in the videos. So that was really my logic behind it.
Yo, that is, I mean, you know what? I have the mind-blowing emoji going on when I saw that. Like, it's like silly. I mean, I think it's brilliant. You know, you still maximize both lanes. You know, you're standing on your principles, on your values, and everything that you communicate with your audience. And you know, and you're also at the same time drawing the line in the sand. We did a lot of line drawing this year.
Yeah.
All of it.
Cat Williams established this is what this year is. Cat Williams told us all. Cat Williams, this is the pure truth. I didn't mention, I also put a call to action at the end. I say, go to curtisking.com, curtisking.bandcamp.com. I did it even in the beginning. You know, Justin, what's so crazy about this? I've done a version of this when I used to sell beats online. Every time I had a beat online, my customers could only hear a snippet. And then the rest of it said, I had a tag, I never forget. Funny story. Well, funny Kodak Black story. I had a tag that said, Curtis King Beats, Curtis King Productions. And then it would say, why you didn't pay for this beat though? Because in my mind, I was like, I want somebody who steals beats to be so embarrassed when that tag comes on and they're performing over that beat they stole. That was my logic. I had no idea that somebody would use that tag in a song, feature Kodak Black, and it said, why you didn't pay for this beat? And he said, because I'm a motherfucking robber. I said, oh, come on, Kodak, come on. Not that, you know, we could have collaborated a different way, but now I'm applying that same logic, which helped me sell 6 figures when it came to my beat selling on a regular basis. I'm now applying that to my music as an artist. Once again, I had to learn to run a business through YouTube, through selling beats. Now that I'm back here, man, it's they call it the Wild Wild West, and I'm feeling I'm feeling like drawing my weapon and questioning any and everything that they have told me as an artist to believe in, because they want us to believe our music isn't worth anything. And I have questions. Even as I watched this documentary last night on Paramount about I was watching a documentary last night on Paramount about music streaming. I'm like, no, my music, my art is worth something. And there's folks out here who feel this way. Shout out my guy, Stevie Crooks. He even compares it to just it being a high art. And when it's a high art, you pay top dollar for it. No matter what's going on with the economy, Van Gogh is going to be a Van Gogh.
I mean, Wu-Tang was able to sell Once Upon a Time in Shaolin $2 million, or reported.
And I think people understand what they're saying when they say that, Justin, when they say things like, well, music doesn't really have any value. You know how many gurus I see on Instagram that pop up on my timeline, and I'm like, cut. Because I'm like, you're starting off in the wrong conversation. Now, if you're talking about it from a business standpoint and you want to use music as a way to expose yourself to new fans by a free model, I understand that. But don't talk condescending to me. And so I think that they're not used to someone like myself as an independent artist who's as brash and also who can articulate themselves around these points. And so I'm not going, I bang too hard for DIYers all around the world to let them talk to us like we're crazy. Because I know we're not crazy. If we're crazy, then everybody else saying that's crazy.
We're looking at your video for Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
You know, there's a line on here in the first verse that, a few lines that really grabbed me. You say, I remember I was borderline homeless just a few years ago, waiting before I stepped into this moment.
Mm-hmm. I was.
On Gosh, which I think is a shout out to the producer.
Oh gosh, you know, homie producer. Yeah.
On Gosh, I was crashing on the sofa, eating avocado sandwiches and plotting on the come up.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Jobs, I feel like when he went back to Apple and started over, just a minimalist living with thoughts in Palo Alto.
Just some minimalist thoughts that he had in Palo Alto. There's a photo, and it's funny that in this video, I recreate that photo where he's sitting in a living room in Palo Alto with no furniture. And he has discovered the power of minimalism. And when he was invited back to Apple after he had been outed, he comes back into the environment with a completely different philosophy in terms of what, as a visionary, right? What could ultimately bring success to Apple. And I think they had like 35 products. And I think he cut it down to like 2 or 3 or something ridiculous. Those numbers are not accurate, but follow me. With that going on, it had me looking at my career as an artist at this time also. Like, have I been complicating everything that I've been doing? And so this song is, you know, it is me saying the things that I feel like I have in common with the Steve Jobs, and that I do feel like in terms of artistry, in terms of independence, in terms of chances that sound crazy on the surface, that is me. And it's funny because I just saw a video just to continue to show how crazy this guy was. You know, he's the one that coined the term podcast.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Podcast is a combination of iPod and broadcasting.
Yeah.
And he presented it during one of his keynotes. And he was like, you know, when we developed the term podcast, I said, wait. You mean the term that Android users and iPhone users are using? Oh my goodness. Some people are anti-iPhone and they're running around here talking about podcasts. And I'm like, you have no idea. So, but yeah, that's what the basis of that song was. I was going through a period of time where I was going through a nasty breakup. And when everybody was looking at my career, like, damn, you finally got on your foot. You're selling beats like crazy. You look like you're doing well for yourself. I had just had a song with the homie Murs called Lemon Juice. I flew out there. I met Sway. And, you know, I did a press run with him. And I felt like life was just in a great place. Then I came home, had a nasty breakup. And for the next X amount of months, I went from having my own bed to sleeping on the homie's couch. And I lived very lean months that was like, dedicate yourself to going to the gym, dedicate yourself to eating avocado sandwiches, vegan burgers, and sleeping on this couch. And there's a photo that I found of Steve Jobs where he's sitting. I'm going to send you this after this. There's a photo where he's sitting in the middle of the living room with them blue jeans and his feet all out. And he's like painting a picture. And I told, oh gosh, I said, ooh, I'm in this moment right now. I said, take that photo, take a photo, take a photo. And so I recreated that photo and I still have that. Anytime I feel like to go back in the cookie jar and remind myself how far we've come.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. I mean, one of the things that's been so great about this Kendrick versus Drake beef, we talk about it all the time, is just how it reconnected the two of us and how, you know, we communicate more often than ever. And also, my favorite part of the offline conversations around this battle was I credit you with being the one who really dissected how Drake used AI for the first version of Push-Ups. That got you in
Is that
some
why UMG see them bots?
right.
Allegedly, excuse me, allegedly.
Break that down, and break down how you got hit with the Drake bays.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I will say the best part that I will remember until I'm from here of this battle was reconnecting with you, because so many of those moments happened when we were on the phone. Like, oh, bro, Kendrick just dropped again. All right, I'll get back at you in 30 minutes. And I'm like, all right, cool. I feel like a kid again in this. It's been a second since I feel like the game had this level of genuine excitement about what's going to happen next. It wasn't a matter of like, something extreme needed to happen for people to feel something, but this feels like people are feeling something. But in the midst of all this, I had already been covering a lot of AI news, a lot of AI music developments. And so I'm really familiar with it. I spent a lot of time even tweaking vocals that were AI. And I could tell by, like, for lack of a better term, there's a lack of human timing, and a lack of human nuance, and a lack of texture, and a lack of even human error that is obvious as hell to me when I listen to it. So when that first version of Push-Ups dropped, and everybody's going crazy, like, oh my God, Drake drop. I can't just scratch my head. I was like, yeah, he dropped, but this feels so monotonish. I mean, like, I know he has that flow, but this is not, for the things he's saying, he doesn't sound like he means them. So I took it and I was like, I'm going to go in an angle nobody else is going to even think about. I wasn't even thinking about views. I just was really curious. Took the clip, ran it through a website called Fader, and pulled out the stems, and I sat with it and I said, oh, Justin. I said, oh, I'm going to tell. Oh, I'm finna tell. I ain't about no snitch life, but that day I was. So I took it and I went to Twitter. I showed it side-by-side analysis, and I was like, this don't sound weird to you? Because then later, that other version got wiped off the internet almost. And then a new version came when he's puffing his chest out. He's got a lot more energy. He's adding a little hat, and you can even hear breaths in the second one. And I was like, my theory was either he tested it out because UMG asked him to, because they're pushing for AI developments of music, or maybe a ghostwriter of his found this as a new way to create a demo song that he can now re-record and put out there. What I wasn't going to believe, Justin, was the cap on my timeline talking about, no, bro, it was an unmastered version. Now we got the CDQ. Are we really talking CDQ? Like it's the blog era in 2024. I was born during the day, not yesterday. And they really tried to push that narrative. Like, no. This one got a whole lot more bass. It's the CDQ version. I am not stupid. What are we doing? This man records in his house. What leak happened? No. I think that's when the shenanigans really happened between this battle. I think that's when he started to question who's in my pot. I think because it wasn't on stream. There was too many delays that had happened. So I said it, put a video up. There's 2 million views in a night. I said, I might have did something. The next thing I know, there's a bot that jumps up and says, Kendrick eats peanut butter off of his NAS. Rick Raw drops his soap and likes it. Hashtag Taylor Swift. Hashtag the Poet Society, or whatever her name of her album is. And I said, what's going on here? And they're only attacking that post for 14 hours. The same week that Taylor Swift dropped that album. I said, you're not that down bad. Little did I know.
Little did you know.
What happened? What would happen in the next month or so? Whew. But yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
The odd thing about the Push-Ups AI, right? Even using Push-Ups AI and putting that out, even letting it leak. Because I think Academics was the only one that had it for a little while. And it's
Right.
like, this is a battle. Like, you can't go into a battle with like ghostwriters or AI. But at the same time, look, I'm very progressive on this AI opportunity. I look at it as
Right.
everybody, you know what I mean? But there's certain things in the lyrics that make you wonder if Drake really said that. Like, Chip and Dale make me chip a nail. Like, does that? I
You
mean,
kidding me? Do you know who you're in a battle with? I really think he underestimated, or maybe, you know what? Let me not say that. I think he overestimated his pull, his relationships, the depth of his relationships in the beginning of this, and said, at the worst, he'll kill me lyrically. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm going to go make another song, another summer bop. They'll forget about it. And then people will say it's close enough. It's almost like going to 12 rounds with Mike Tyson. And then he didn't knock me out. He didn't knock me out. I kind of feel like that was that. And then also, too, it just felt like he was unfocused the entire time. Like, you have Kung Fu Kenny walking directly in your direction. And you're like, and somebody's telling you, hey, academically tell him, hey, he's coming. He's like, I don't care about that. ASAP, let's have a conversation. Future, let's have a conversation. Weekend. On the weekend, we can have a conversation. And I'm like, he's aiming at you. He is shooting. And as time would reveal, that was a bad strategy.
I'll say this, though. Push-ups, I wasn't mad at it, right? You know, after when push-up shows up, we've got We Don't Like You, We Don't Trust You, We Still Don't Trust You.
Right.
Got a gaggle of top-tier artists all coming at your neck. Yeah, you got to have something for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I wasn't mad at it at all on Push-Ups. And I actually think Push-Ups is probably his best track that he released, and the most effective one. Because after Push-Ups, Drake was up. You know what I mean? Now, granted, what's he up against? Kendrick hadn't dropped yet. But that song goes so hard in the gym, man. I'll still listen to it in the gym. I have it on, because I have a Rap World War III playlist that has all the tracks in the beat. That goes up. Yeah. I like it, you know?
I can't bring myself to do it. Because you know what it feels like? It feels like playing it feels like watching a part of a movie where the enemy is, where it feels like the villain is winning. That's what it feels like for me, because I'm not a Drake fan. It feels like the villain is winning this part of the movie. And I'm like, I don't want to watch that part. I want to watch when the villain kicks his ass. And so, like, I already said, this is going to be, I'm just waiting for the Tubi movie, because this is going to come before the Hollywood movie, and where Shamar Moore is going to play Drake. He's going to play Drook. That's going to be his name, is Drook, in that movie. I'm waiting for that movie, because I want to watch this movie again without having to listen to Drake songs. Because now, just look at how badly they've aged. Like, the one thing about Push-Ups that I thought people overlooked, and it was DJ Head that I think highlighted this on his show with Elliot Wilson, I think was really dope. And he said, the moment that he mentioned Whitney in the way that he did, it became a violation. And there's a warning that comes along with that. Hey, we can have a friendly fade, as Kendrick said, but the moment you start talking about people that got nothing to do with, you start trolling his manager. Oh, okay, I can violate you now. You're giving me full-on permission to violate. I'm going to take that. That moment I was looking at, I was like, if you're going to violate it, I don't think he understands it's a violation. Maybe he does now, because he does this with people already. When Most Def said them things about him, he went and followed his daughter on Instagram. He went and followed DJ Mustard's ex-wife on Instagram. He went and Rick Ross ex. He went and invited her to one of his shows that he had. And it's like, you don't understand how much of a violation that is. And some people don't play with stuff like that. And if you're going to make that your violation, like, don't be like, this yours? You dropped it? Maybe. What are we doing? Stand on that. I really believe, call me crazy, Justin, I think I'm the reason they dropped Push-Ups the very next day on streaming. Because the conversation at 2 million views, it was boiling. It was very much boiling at a crucial point of this. But don't let me tell that.
I think so. I mean, honestly, you kick-started that entire conversation, and you had receipts to go with it. That was weighty at that point in time in this conversation. Clearly, Drake is on top of everything that's happening online, whether it's this or whether it's him liking Rick Ross getting beat up by Hell's Angel white supremacists. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. You know, we'll get over to that part of the conversation. But at that moment, you know, like, I love Avengers. Oh my God, what's it called? I love it so much I can't remember the name of it. I love the first final version of the Avengers, right? Avengers Infinity Wars, right? Mm-hmm. This Infinity Wars is ending, right? It's Thanos is whooping people's ass in that movie. You know what I mean? And you know, it sets it up for what's going to happen to end. You know, it can't end like that. You know, that's how I feel about it. I know it's not like this, but this is actually a worthy round. right? And then I remember when Taylor made,
Okay, I get it.
you know what I'm saying? Like, there was no part of me that was sitting around saying, oh, this might be it for Kendrick. Not at that point. Now, I was very curious. I was like, oh, man, Kendrick got to drop something soon after Taylor made Freestyle. Now, I know I'm on an island to myself with that, my appreciation for that song. It is disrespectful. It was a bad play, ultimately going at Pac or using Pac's name and Snoop's name, all that stuff. But when I listen to it, it's like a phenomenal anthropological case study. Like, look at this dude. And he found a very creative, innovative way to use AI, right? That song will go down in history. What for being the first time we've ever seen that. We ended up getting BBL Drizzy later in the battle. You know what I'm saying? So AI was all around this, however you look at it. But I called you on the phone. I'm like, man, Kendrick got to drop, man. Kendrick got to drop. You know, because this is one of those things that is forward looking, right? Now, all of this is part of corporate AI advertorial, and this aged terribly.
Sure.
The stuff he was saying from Pac's perspective and Snoop's perspective, he actually kind of nailed it to me on that.
Hey, well, he kind of showed how little Pac he listens to too. Because I heard but I'm like, that's all you're. It's like he listened to Shed So Many Tears and was like, I've got it. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna take it from here. I knew that's one of the ones he did right. You know, if he wrote any of them, I think he wrote Hard Part 6. I think he wrote this one. I think those two. I think he for sure wrote that. But and you know how I can't stand. Like I'm the biggest Pac fan you're gonna find. I can't stand the utilization of it. And I tried to understand it from your point of view when you were, that was the one part we disagreed on this whole thing, right? That was the one part I was trying to figure out some kind of like common ground on it. And then I thought about it from this perspective. What if during Cannabis versus LL Cool J, LL Cool J would have used AI to mimic Cannabis' voice and then like overdid it and made it sound like Cookie Monster or something like that? That would have been a very hilarious moment. But I think what matters here is the fact that it's Drake doing the very thing that Kendrick was dissecting from song one. You keep on taking from this culture without appreciation or understanding of nuance. Without like, if you really rapped and you actually like said some things that Pac would say, you didn't even give me a Hennessy enemy line. Like, give me a Hennessy and an enemy, thug life when it's tatted on my chest. You didn't give me none of that. You gave me Drake as if he had thug life tatted on his chest, which is a crazy visual. Hey, yo. Don't even want to think about that. But with that said, you started rapping like Drake with a Tupac AI voice, and I could hear it. What's up, nephew? And then you at the end, this is the funny part. This is the part of the movie that I would like to see the other side be documented. When he said, nah, Kendrick, don't run now.
That, to me, that's the most quotable line. That's probably Drake's most quotable line this entire battle. To me, that is. Because I'm sure that shit is haunting him now. Though. You know, I find myself walking down the street, you know, just going to the store, and I'll pass like, you know, I live in Skid Row, right? So I'll pass like one of my houseless neighbors, and I'm watching them argue and shit because you know they're always arguing out here. Right. And I'll look at them and I'll just be like, nah, not this time, but you following through. Like,
but see, that's the part of the movie where you know how it's gonna end, and you're like, you hope they put extras on that part because you're like, oh, I know how this is going to end.
You know it's going to go back. Like Carmen speaking, that's when I was like, you know, yeah, this is going to go. Kendrick's going to do great. Kendrick's going to do.
This is like the part of the Titanic when they said it's indestructible. She'll never sink.
Right.
Okay.
Right. You know, because then we get to the point where by the end of the battle, Kendrick went way back to diss me, you'll never hear a reply for. like he went all the way back to where the dude started. He starts off with, nah, not this time. You follow it through. And by the end, it's like, what you got? Oh, man, you got this burnt out. 10 more joints.
Yeah, he went from you probably gonna hit me with a double quadruple entendre. It's funny because he has just as many quotables, not just as many, but he has a lot of quotables as well. I'll admit that. As somebody that is biased because I've worked with Kendrick, I know Kendrick, I know TDE. You know, he had a lot of quotables. Here's the spin on it though. They're all things that have aged terribly.
You know, that another super quotable line in this battle from Drake. Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now. I love that one.
It just keeps happening. Yeah, you know what? Kendrick fans do too, because Harvey Mason Jr. said, "Hey, it is eligible for a Grammy." I don't see, and I don't want to use the Grammys as a validation factor in terms, or just any awards in general, to validate hip hop, right, or validate anything happening in rap or beef or in the culture in general. But receiving an award for that, like somebody even put up the idea of him winning another, what is it, the Pulitzer?
Pulitzer.
Or is it the Pulitzer for the show itself and for bringing all of these opposing neighborhoods together on stage, and for having such a cultural event, for having something, a historic event the way it is. Every time and it's almost like Drake predicted this in on accident. He became that so Raven on accident and predicted every part of his demise, because he just keeps saying things like, for instance, you rapping like you're trying to free the slaves. I can't imagine saying that in a room full of my peers and them being like, hey, bro. I imagine my OGs like, shout out to like a Glasses Malone, pulling me by my collar and be like, what are you doing?
Right.
Do you understand what this moment is? Do you understand how tone deaf that sounds? Like, even if you think you, like, I remember he said something on that SZA song. She had me in whips and chains like American slaves.
Whip and chain you like Americans. He dropped an American in there.
What are we doing?
What is he talking about?
And then old girl Camilla, he just released that. I didn't know she had issues. So it's just like, you keep showing me who you are, I'm going to eventually believe you. Even if I'm like, no, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You show me who you are. You show me who your friends are. I think it's fair to believe that if you yourself, maybe you have blinders up, if you don't care enough to see and say, you know what, I want to know why people have such an issue with this. I just haven't seen an ounce of humility or accountability this entire way. And I get it. You're in the middle of a rap beef. You got to talk your stuff. You want to come out and still look like you're unscathed. But it's like, I just feel like we're going to get the most victim, and I'm saying this is me, the most victim interview in about a year with Gayle King about how Kendrick the Bully and that song was so scathing, and how it was so hurtful that he would do that. And people are around here, singing I'm a around at bar mitzvahs and at birthdays and at bands. Like I could see that conversation happening, but it's like, but we're not going to talk about how you violated verbally his wife. You insinuated that his partner, Dave Freed, is the father of one of his kids, and we don't sweep that under the rug because you are now having a moment where you're under the microscope. I think that that's something that I even feel the responsibility in media, and I feel like you do such a remarkable job. I learned from you in that no, let's keep these other conversations in the forefront so that this one doesn't get railroaded by people trying to pull on your heartstrings because they're in a vulnerable moment.
I mean, there's so many things that scream colonizer, right? And I know that's a harsh word for people to hear. I know a lot of people don't want to be called a colonizer. They want to think about hip-hop as this huge tent that's open for everybody. Yeah, everybody is welcome as long as you show respect. I mean, if you look at that Family Matters video, like people keep telling me that's the best track he dropped. That is the most disgusting, tone deaf, culturally disrespectful shit might be ever from Drake. And he's got a lot of things like that. But
right.
Like in that video, he's showing off his G-Unit spinner chain. He's showing off his Pharrell chain that he bought, his Tupac chain that he bought. Like, dude, that is like straight colonizer behavior. Like that, he's looking like Christopher Columbus in that video, showing off these artifacts that he's gotten from the American slaves that he's been hanging out with, co-opting their music. I mean, that is wild to me like looking at that video again, the more I look at this battle, the dude's got his mom suggesting he doesn't say the N-word. And then he cuts her off and says, nigga, I said it, I know that you mad. Who disrespects That is not like us, right? Like you get to like
After you tattletaled on Rick Ross for saying something racist
you call Rick Ross
to the same mom.
told the world that he told his mom that Rick Ross was racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, along with the trying to free the slaves line, along with the American slaves line.
Yeah.
And and all of his fans are like, he's black. His dad's from Memphis. I'm like, well, why didn't he put him at the beginning of the song? Why didn't he talk to his black dad and say, yo, dad, they up here coming at my N-word car. What's up? What we gonna do? Why have his dad on there? Because he's not culturally American. He's not culturally black American.
You know what would change that? If he had a black woman in his life that didn't lie to him. Because I feel like that came in the form of my grandmother, my aunties, that came in the form of a homegirl of mine who would call me out, right? My wife is a black woman. She'll tell me right up, like, stop wearing them pants. Excuse me, woman? Right? I accused her one time of using my toothpaste, and I used like the Toms, and she's like, nobody want that hippie toothpaste. I said, you keep me grounded. That's when I fell in love with her too, by the way. I don't feel like he has anybody in his life, just from the outside, that is going to tell him the truth and he's going to accept it. Maybe Jay Prince, I assume, but I don't know how much time they spend on a daily basis. But it just seems like the circle he keeps around him just does what they can to not lose their position.
Right.
Or, as Kendrick insinuated, they already hate it there and they're just comfortable and they just stay in this place. But I'm like, having elders in general, right? I say black woman because I just love the strength of black woman, and the way that she words things is a way that I can relate to. Just having somebody in your life that's going to hold you accountable. You'll have different conversations, because I don't know. Once again, I say, like, I'm not big as nothing like that, but I can tell you this: I am rich in relationships and people that I can bounce ideas off of. Like I talked about earlier, Glasses is one of those I would call. I called him recently. Right? Just having a general conversation about music career. Somebody that ain't gonna lie to me. But I think a lot of human beings, I think it's just a microcosm of how in society now, people are more comfortable with you lying to them in their face than telling the truth to them in their face. They look at that as you're being offensive. They look for grounds to cancel you on that. So when I look at Drake, I just feel like it's so crazy that we've seen the colonization behavior, right? And this is my theory too about the whole 20 versus 1. Could it be possible that you've done the same thing to 20 people and they've had conversations amongst themselves and said, hey, bro, after he came and collab with you and you're so grateful for the collab, hey, did he kind of run with your style on the next album? He did that to me. Wait. He did do that to you. ASAP. Yep, he did it to me. Don't even ask me. He did it. And he talked about my wife. At some point, you can't do all that and expect that nobody's going to say anything. But one thing that I learned, and I'm going all over the place, but one thing that I learned from watching the TMZ doc on Diddy in the situation, one of the people that were accusing him said, it's all about timing when you're dealing with somebody this large. People in the industry know, and it's too easy to call them cowards for not saying anything, but they also know that if you stand up and say something at the wrong time, that's the end of your career. That's the end of the people that you provide for, because you're going to be blackballed in such a way that you won't have the opportunity to tell your story further. Now, because of the timing, now look at everybody else who's saying, okay, out in the shadows for a long time, but because of this Kendrick situation, I can finally speak on this is what happened when da-da-da-da. So timing plays a big factor in this. I don't think it's I hate Drake. I think this is just karma for maybe perhaps the way that he has conducted business with a lot of people. If it's 20v1 and it's like that, I would do some soul searching if that was me in that position.
Well, he's not. He's definitely not doing that. Maybe he is. Look, I can't speak for what he's doing internally, but you know, another big story this week, we saw Rick Ross and his bodyguard and his DJ were confronted by Hell's Angels. His bodyguard.
Those are Hell Angels? It's confirmed those are Hell's Angels.
Confirmed. Icarus.
Really?
The guy at the end of Family Matters that he's talking to is a Hell's Angel, his neighbor. He was a big Hells Angels in Montreal. Big shout out to Ricky Dredd. I was talking to Ricky Dredd yesterday from We Love Hip Hop Canada. He confirmed it. I mean, this stuff is out there. Drake is in multiple pictures wearing Hells Angels gear, clothes. You know, Hells Angels is a straight up, you know, it's a racist biker game that's tied to the Aryan Nation. You know what I mean? And this is the guy who says he's the king of hip hop.
What are we doing? What are we doing, Justin? He's made it so easy, and I think that maybe that's also a statement upon how desensitized a lot of us have become. Not us,
Right.
us desensitized. Where it's like, yeah, I see that, but he makes great songs. His music is really hypnotizing. I mean, so what? Right? I was having this conversation, and I want to make it political, but I have people that I talk to who don't agree with the brashness of, say, a Trump. But that one thing that he stands on, that one policy, that's their deciding factor for why they vote for him. So why wouldn't it be the same thing with music fans that say the younger relationships he have is kind of weird, and you got a weird case. Some of these things are kind of weird, but he made this, and I love this. It reminds me of when I was going through a relationship issue, and they're not able to separate the two. And it's like, you know, that wasn't unique for R. Kelly either. And I'm not making a comparison. I'm just saying that people have a challenge separating what the person does, what the person does outside of their music and within their music, and they're not able to marry the two. Some people just say, I don't care. I love your music too much. But no, I just think it is insane to me that we got these obvious moments happening during a battle for his cultural security.
This culture,
right? The stranglehold he has upon this is your cultural security. This is going to, if you care about just money more than culture, you might want to show some culture pandering. You might want to pull out your hot sauce out the purse like Hillary Clinton. You might want to go you might go on Breakfast Club and say, you don't vote for me, you ain't black. This is your moment to have one of those. What does he do instead? He doubles down on the colonization. Like, one thing I want to say about that Funny Matters thing that really pissed me off when I was reacting to it, I was like, oh, he thinks you niggas is dumb. He puts a chain like, yeah, really barring up, do something.
Yo, the way you broke that down.
It feels like hypnotization.
It was so crazy.
I hate it here.
Yo, because when you're breaking that down, you're like, yeah, anytime he feels like, anytime what were you saying? You were saying anytime he's losing the audience, he holds up some jewelry.
Any baddies in a room? Come on here, I need you. Come in here. Shake that, like shake it for Drake. Like, but this is the same play that they've been running as major labels with other artists. So he's not the only one to do it. I just think it's really interesting timing to do this during the battle. You know, it's funny how we're breaking down, for instance, when he put up a post the other day on Instagram after the Pop House show, when he put Summer League. It's crazy how now we're breaking down his Instagram post for double and triple entendres. Is he talking about LeBron? He's wearing a Cleveland jersey. Is he talking about how the form is like Summer League size and he couldn't do the crypto? And it's like, where was all these double entendres and all of this rapidy rap shit when it was time to rap? You were in a fight for your rap life. And now you made a great statement in one of your videos, in that people were like, he'll be fine from a commercial standpoint. If we're judging by the last release, you know, maybe eventually, but it's not like he went and played with his rap friends for a second. You know, he came down with the minorities and came down to our level and played with us, and then he can go back to the other place and they didn't hear about him. No, they're in the corporate buildings dancing to Not Like Us right now. They're at the bar mitzvahs dancing to Not Like Us. So you can't do that. You can't like dabble into the rap. I'm really with the rap battle. I support the rap battle leagues. And then think you go over there and these kids don't care. Because the kids are the ones calling you stranger danger now.
Kids are in stranger danger territory with Generation Alpha. Generation Alpha, stranger danger territory. I mean, the other thing too is the AI play, I don't think is going to be as received well amongst his peers as it might look right? Because we saw Sheryl Crow come out this week, basically call him a demon for doing that. You know what I mean? Like it was really, he's getting a lot of criticism from other artists who have made that leap to the pop level for taking a dead man's, a deceased icon's likeness without permission, taking an alive icon's likeness without permission. I don't know, man. I think there's a lot more. I don't think this is going to be like Pusha T. This isn't like Meek Mill. Obviously, he beat Meek Mill. This isn't like anything that he's ever been confronted with before. You know, there's a lot more here than just always not writing his songs. You know what I mean? Like this person is literally aligning with he's aligning with the Hell's Angels. He's been there for a minute. God's Plan has a Hell's Angels reference in it. Now, I don't know how these things work. I tell my audience all the time how, I'm not into gang stuff. I don't know how the gangs go. You know, I tend not to really reach into these kind of things, but Hell's Angels is a public organization who gives a lot of money to elected officials, police officers. You know, in a way, they are kind of like the cops in a lot of scenarios. And they do have a very defined, racially exclusionist history. You don't get me wrong, every population got a couple of specks of something in it. So I don't know if there's an alignment here as much. I don't think Drake is, his checks cash. He's probably paying them, or maybe he's getting extorted. Who knows? Because one of the guys is his neighbor. You got to see the stuff that's happening at the crib. So I don't know. Who knows what it is? But that is an unholy alliance if I've ever seen one. Right? You're literally have a career that excludes consciousness, and while you're selling Black music, you say nigga 19 times a song and called Rick Ross racist. And you're aligning with the Hell's Angels and laughing about it online. I got to share this post real quick because you posted this on IG, and the caption is really great. This is something I think there's more going on here that I think will have lingering effects when it comes to the boy. Here he is on Canada Day.
Like never before, African woman, you're the one I adore. Happy Canada Day. See, I'm rapping today. Happy Canada.
Your post. Look, guys, I could be cultured too. Look, guys, I could be cultured too.
Look, guys, they're not like us. See, you don't get it. They're not like us. They're not like we. It's the timing. A Black woman would have told me, sit your ass down somewhere and understand what has just happened to you. You're trying to, you know what this is? You know what this is to me? You ever see somebody fall in public and try to get up too fast and then fall again? Or do something goofy like knock something off the table? You know what I'm saying? Because they're not fully ready to fully get, they have not, just stay down for a second. Laugh it off. People forget that. But when you fall and you trying to, I feel like this is what he's doing right now, because if you're doing all this on the public, I can only imagine what's going on mentally. I can only imagine what's going on behind the scenes, right? You didn't have a situation where not only have you been publicly embarrassed, that's fine. The man's a multi-millionaire. He 100 something millionaire. He'll be fine. But that mansion can quickly become reminders of this entire ordeal. I didn't know he had a cat named Crody. How do you not think about Crody and cheese in your family, Crody? How do you not think of that? How do you walk amongst this house? The embassy about to get raided. It's only a matter of time. How do you call it the embassy? How do you go in your closet and see OVO and not think of other vaginal option? That's what I love so much about what Kendrick did, is that he gave us enough on the outside for us to be like, ooh, what is it, the braids? And then, wait, and he has braids. I didn't even think about that till right now. Everything, he gave him so many things to where you can't even feed your cat without thinking about this battle. Every part of your life, you can't, you can't say the words like us or like that. Just stop saying like. It is so masterful. Something you said, I want to bring it back just really quickly. I want to make sure we're moving in the right direction with that, what you were saying. But Sheryl Crow was somebody who, during Tupac time, if I'm not mistaken, was very popular at that time. Could you imagine Tupac in the midst of having a battle, a war between him and Biggie? He was like, you better hope you can release Biggie. You better talk to the big dog, Sheryl Crow. That's why I F Joe. Shout out to Sheryl Crow though. What's up with Dollar Crowdies? Could you imagine Tupac doing that? It sounds crazy. I know we're in a different time, but I'm like, this is why I just could not understand the delusion of people who come to my timeline and tell me, oh, Drake won this by a long shot. What game were you watching? That's like me. I know what that is. It's delusion. Because it's me with the Lakers. When they got swept by the Nuggets the first time, and I was like, well, every game was close. But they lost 4-0. Every game was close. Every game was close.
I'm a Bulls fan. I've been saying Lonzo, wait till we get Lonzo. I've been saying it for 4 years. Wait till we get Lonzo.
I'm still saying that as a Laker fan after he left us. I'm like, wait till we get Lonzo back. So wait till we get Lonzo back. Everything's gonna be fine then, okay? Everything's gonna the world will repair itself.
Oh man. You know, one of the things that I'm running into quite a bit in terms of, you know, people in the audience, the analysts in the audience, or comments I run across, or people on my timeline, they really go, there's a segment of population of people who really go at Not Like Us, and they look at it as a degenerate song because he's calling Drake and his team certified lover boys, certified PDF files, right? And they're like, this is the most demeaning, degrading, disgusting thing. Now, you did a great job of just explaining how to these people, yeah, clearly they're agnostic or blind to how Drake led everything in this direction. He could have kept it a friendly fade. He could have kept it that way. Like every direction. And this is where we end up. And now they're clutching their pearls because there's no truth. But I do think that there's no proof, rather,
right,
of any of the allegations, right? But I do think, but I am very interested in your perspective. With Not Like Us being nominated for a Grammy, there's a high possibility.
It's winning. It's winning. That thing is winning.
High possibility that Not Like Us takes home at least one Grammy. It's going to be It's going to be nominated in multiple categories.
What rap song has been bigger?
Right, but that's just, but what the song is saying, right? See, I personally like. Oh, let me find this real quick. I'm gonna find.
I just got the thought of Kendrick inviting somebody to their house. This is the Grammys from the first few years, the first 16 a year. This one right here holds special meaning to me, though. This right here is when I be headed to now.
So I got a comment from, I'll share this. I'm gonna share the screen on this so you can see it. I got a comment from, one of the analysts in my audience. He says, if people were really worried about their kids, would they let them dance and sing lyrics to a song talking about PDF file? Who laughs and dance to R of Children? I don't this could be serious. I don't think this could be serious. I'm not sure what right? But you hear where he's coming from, right?
Yeah.
My response, alternative angle. It's a catchy tune that teaches them Reconstruction era history and the type of person to stay away from.
That's why I love you. That's why I love you. That's why I love you. Because you say the things in a way that I'm like, I wish I could have articulated that way. That's what I was trying to say. My emotion gets the best of me. But it's the truth. And my question is this, Justin. Sir, ma'am, whoever that may be. What made you start caring about truth in rap in 2024? We care about truth now? We care about truth now. You trying to tell me them same songs, them same catchy ass songs where some of these rappers were talking about drinking lean, and if you were to drink along every time they said lean, you'd be dead by the end of the song? You talking about those kind of songs? Talking about now we're fact checking. Now we're in a political debate for our lives. No. That is goalpost shifting. That you're moving the goalpost. It's just I look at this and I'm like you said, it's crazy how we think Kendrick making a song like this is a bigger violation than the things that this man said about his wife. The things that he said about domestic violence is nothing to play with. You don't accuse somebody like that without any kind of evidence. You don't tell somebody that their business partner is the father of one of his kids with no proof. To me, that's more scathing than anything else that you could talk about. He made a song. You know why that song takes off? You know why the kids are like, oh, they wouldn't do this if there was not just an ounce of truth or curiosity. Don't even say truth. An ounce of presented evidence that would make them say, you think it's possible? Nah. I mean, we got these relationships with, nah. That's the point. Because whatever happened beyond this, say you say it's 98% lies. What is Family Matters now? And is that not as scathing? I mean, obviously it ain't hitting the same, But I just think that people will move the goalposts when it doesn't fall in their favor. Because I can tell you right now, Justin, let's say in an alternative universe that I don't want to live in, Kent dropped the ball. Kendrick went and gave him like nothing but like super underground rapidy raps over beats, and people were just like, this is my issue with Kendrick. He's just too abstract. Let's say he went back to Pimp a Butterfly, right, where a lot of folks were having issues in general trying to understand, and then they followed up with Damn, and they were like, yeah, that's what I wanted. Let's say he went that direction, and we had an alternative universe where Drake releases Not Like Us. You think that they would give a damn? It'd be us making stories about you. What are we doing here? So I look at this and I'm like, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You don't care about truth in rap. It's only when that truth feels uncomfortable to you. And honestly, I'm starting now to look at not just Drake fans, but just men in general in a different way, because it's been crazy. You would think Drake's fan base, I thought, online at least, would be like skewed 80 to 90% women, or 70 to 80%, right? Nothing but the ugliest statements, glizzy, guzzler, whatever you want to call it, like glazing all. There's been nothing but guys who have been typing that. I just can't see myself typing to another man hints of fellatio or just using terms that, and I'm looking at this and I'm just like, oh, I get it. The music that Drake has made has been so toxic, in my opinion, that you see a little bit of yourself in that. Even if you don't notice it, you see yourself in that toxic behavior. And now it's being reflected in the way that you're reacting, that you lost. You're sore losers. Well, guess who else is a sore loser? The guy you're listening to right now. So when I look at it from a zoomed out point of view and think about just the psychology of how music can affect us, because I believe in those, I've been hypnotized before. I absolutely believe that that is a possibility.
I mean, I can't remember the last. I mean, I guess Jay-Z for me, right? Jay-Z might be the last rap battle where the guy I was rooting for lost. Because I was rooting for Jay. I was rooting for Hov, right? And it wasn't anything necessarily against Nas. But for me personally, Nas had a string of underwhelming albums. I regret buying Nostradamus to this day. I regret it. I wish I had stole it. Not to say
you like Godson.
That's when he everything got good after the battle. Like, it worked out well for Nas after the battle. But at that point in time, the way Jay-Z, because Jay-Z's The Blueprint is one of my favorite albums ever. It's on my wall. And
for sure,
the way he breaks down Nas's catalog in that battle, I was like, dang, it's kind of true though. You start looking at it, it's he's supposed to. I mean, and I personally thought it was weird when he started embracing mafioso imagery on It Was Written, right? Because that was the second album. He didn't start off like that. He went from watching everything to being the kingpin. And so, but I couldn't ignore Ether. Now, after Ether, I was like, but Ether's just your mama jokes, it wasn't facts, it's just your mama jokes, You're
35 in a Tybo class, your Tybo hoe.
Right, the coke was so real that I was just like, I don't care. Right. Now, I was coping, right? But at the same time, I'm saying at the same time, you can't fight the wave. And in that battle, Hov even acknowledged his loss. Like at the end of I think the song's called Blueprint 2, on the Blueprint 2, where he says, because I will learn even in defeat, I will not lose even in defeat, because there's a valuable lesson learned, so that evens it up for me. Right. So even when they were still throwing their strays and stuff, he's not out here on a whole nother planet. He's not coping as hard as I was coping. No. You know what I'm saying?
But see, with Jay-Z, here's once again the difference. Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but here's once again the difference with a Jay-Z. At least Jay-Z went down swinging with a super ugly, right? He didn't go down and say, nah, don't run away from me now. And then he said, 10 of them in a chain, you doing too much. Like, it is so sad. And I'm saying this as a light-skinned black male, it's so beige rage. It pissed me off. Like, I wasn't even rooting for him. And I was like, fight back. What are you doing? You making anybody that think we look alike, you making us look bad. What are you doing right now? Like you're engaged in a battle. And for me, when Not Like Us happened, get in your timestamp bag, get in your back-to-back bag. You lost all the fight then. So when I looked at that, like the hard part to me, you know what it sounded like, and this is just my theory, because I saw a writer who supposedly, you never know on the internet, but I'm not gonna put the individual's name out there. He seemed like a reputable. A lot of folks following him. He was saying that he has relationships with Drake's writers, and he was saying that the people who are usually in that OVO camp weren't around because at that time they're cleaning house. They're trying to figure out where the mole is, who the mole is. That song to me sounds like he recorded it and wrote it by himself. And he finally had a sober moment. I'm listening to him rapping and I'm like, dog, this just sounds like the stuff that you heard in them URL battles. Like you're rapping, but you could have given these. It was the mistake that that Cassidy made when he first jumped into battle rap, is that you're giving us bars, but they're not in anybody's direction. They're very general bars that could be applied to any rapper. But when you're like, talk about your moms. I seen her the other day when I was shopping at Vaughn's. And you know what? I love about her hair. She's a sexy brunette. Like you start getting into those details about another rapper. Oh my God, like that's different. But Jay-Z went down swinging. This dude flicked his hair, flicked his braids, and walked away and said, I got better things to do. So you can have at it. That's what pissed me off, Justin, because I'm like, not even the rapper in you wants more? This is sick. This is honestly, like I'm sorry, I'm beige raging my damn self, but this is so sickening, Justin. What are we doing? Like, at least who called Jay-Z? Was it his grandma or his who called him and told him he went too far with the condoms on the baby seat?
His mom.
His mom. So that's what I'm saying. Like
woman.
Hello. You just said it right there. My mama would have called me and said, first of all, love thy neighbor.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So,
So, you know, one of my favorite moments of the Pop Out concert was obviously the intro when Kendrick came in playing Euphoria. And there was a sample. It wasn't a sample. He actually played the song, My Latest Greatest Inspiration. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at some of the songs that Kendrick has put out over the years. Stop Playing With Me Before I Turn You to a Song. You know, all these things that he's done. You know, all the little, all the subs they were throwing.
Yeah.
You know, it really does feel like Kendrick has been inspired Drake, like pushed by Drake. Like that was like a motivating thing for him to continue. You know, Michael Jordan had to create all kinds of villains in his mind in order to push himself to greatness, right? He would look at maybe small things, slick things another player was saying in the newspaper, and that would motivate him to continue to care, right? That's how you end up with like 6 titles.
Right.
Now that Kendrick has clearly packed Drake up, pack that boy up.
Pack that boy up.
What do you think Kendrick does now? Do you think he'll move with the same vigor? Do you think he'll have the same what happens when a person takes out their biggest challenge?
I think that he's already starting to do it, right? I think that you move it to less about you and more about we. I think the show was the first step in that direction. I think that he could have went many different directions with that show. There's some people in LA who I'm sure felt like they should have been part of that show. There's some people in LA who probably feel like that sound that was the first opening up, like on DJ Heads, like they're like, no, that's the sound of one part of LA. What about like on the Lamert side? And what about this? Like there's so many different sounds that exist just on the West Coast in general. I think they did an awesome job. Him and Mustard did an awesome job of curating what would be the way that you present the culture in a way that an audience has already been kind of, for whatever reason, they've been turned off to it, right? They haven't really been tapping in. I remember, and I know this because I make content about West Coast stuff all the time. I got videos on my channel, how to make West Coast beats. I did a cinematic piece where I'm like playing a GTA San Andreas character and I usher it in. Had so much fun with it, but people were like, still, I don't really like West Coast stuff. And it's so amazing to me that Kendrick created a song in Not Like Us, and it is such a Draco the Ruler influence flow. It is such a, of course, it's a Mustard beat, which is another sound out here. And he's rapping in a way that's like, ooh, like the homies say, oh, you getting real Easty on there. Like he's rapping a certain type of way that's like, that feels like home. What does Kendrick do? In his opening set, he invites people who make music that would fall really great on a playlist with that song. Okay, that's your introduction to West Coast. That's the only thing that you know about Cool. And then the thing that I think people are overlooking that is so, so powerful. He brought Steve Lacy and he also brought Tyler the Creator. What you got to understand is that as much as Tyler the Creator is so well received across now, there was a point in time when it was him and the Odd Future kids where they were looked at as like the weirdos from the other side. Oh, this nigga's a weirdo from Hawthorne. And when it comes to like LA rap, if it doesn't sound a certain way, if you're not from a certain part of the culture, if you skateboard, if you don't do the things that are normally associated with black folks, you kind of get pushed to the outside. For him to be embraced in there and show just how diverse it is out here, I see Kendrick now. I think he gave $200,000 to initiatives in the community. I think he's going to hopefully take this on tour, create an album to go along with it, bring names that you wouldn't normally see associated, right? Because, you know, they're very, like TDE's been very careful about who they associate with. And, you know, they're very strategic, I should say, about alliances within music. I could see that happening to where it's like, you know, we kind of a We the West type of situation where you go all the way around you take this thing on tour. Now, that could potentially be problematic in certain places like Canada. I don't think they'd have any issues with that. But my thing is this, I think that he turns it into more about the people now. And I'm not saying he never was. I just think that Mr. Morale did, instead of doing this, is the first album he allowed himself to do this. Here's stories that mean something to just Kendrick Lamar and my immediate family. And I need to tell these stories. But I feel like that album was him purging everything so that he can get ready for this.
I think so too. You know, the more I look at it, it's like, okay, before someone can actually push this button on me, let me go ahead and do the work on myself. Let me go to do some ayahuasca, strip the ego from the bottom. You know what I mean? I think one of the other things that well, to your point about Canada, I'm not sure, man. What I see with Drake, this dude is, you describe the Hard Part 6 as not going out swinging. I think we're seeing his going out swinging. He is going out violent. To me, this is what Paranoid and Spiraling looks like. He's making, this dude, you know, since this whole battle has happened, right? They're shooting at it. He's got gunshots. He said, I don't want to say he said, I can't confirm that, but he has clearly been repping Hell's Angels since 2018, at least. He's God's plan. He's quoting Hell's Angels stuff.
What was the line in that one? I didn't catch that one.
It's the 81 line. So the 81, 8 is H, 1 is A. That's how. So if you look at Hell's Angels gear, it all has.
He did this in God's plan?
God's plan, which is wild in itself, right? But you start looking at that, then they show up at a Rick Ross concert. All right, look, a battle, fans can do anything. I'm not going to put that on Drake. I haven't seen him push a button or nothing like that, right? But, you know, I do think that I think the climate is ripe right now to where, yeah, Canada might be a problem, you know, straight out one way or the other. But away from that, you know, there's another conversation where people wonder if Kendrick's going to go away for 5 years again, and we're not going to get a whole bunch of music. I firmly believe, and we talked about this, and I did want to have this debate. We had a conversation about what is Kendrick missing from his catalog at this point to be the greatest, right? And now I've made a Kendrick GOAT piece in 2016, right? So I already think he has enough to be considered in the conversation, right? One thing that people do criticize Kendrick for is that he will take long breaks in between albums, especially between Damn and Mr. Morale. That was 5 years. That was a long time. He did a lot of work on himself to get there, right? Personally, I don't think we're going to see that kind of gap again. I don't think he could afford to have that kind of gap again, especially because they have PG Lang. They have their own situation, have their own label. No one starts a label and then goes away and let their label sit and not be in the conversation. But two, I honestly think if there's one 100% certified GOAT quality that Kendrick is missing is the crazy feature run where he just shows up on everyone else's joints and
He's
And
made them count though. He's made them count, the ones he has, even from a pop standpoint, even from a rap standpoint. Like, and he's picked random ones. Like one line I remember from Kendrick that I think he stood very true to is, you know, the line where people are telling him that, you know, he's more conscious, and he's like, you don't understand. Like, I'm the middle ground between conscious and Compton. Like he says, I forget the way he says it, but I think that's also, to answer the last question too, I think this is also how he could probably patch that up. I don't know. My argument to you when we had this conversation was that features are important only because we get to see all the different sides of you on different productions, see your versatility. I think he's shown that. I feel like features to me feel like, when we're talking about the GOAT debates in basketball, to me it feels like the dunk contest. Have you done a dunk contest though? Because truth be told, one of our favorite rappers in 3 Stacks, he's missing that.
no, he's not. What do you mean? Even
he's missing.
His feature run was crazy in the 2000s. He wasn't dropping.
Wait. Hold on. We got to give context. We got to get context. We got to get context. We're
walking. Not missing a feature. I'm waiting to hear this.
We got to give context. We're walking. Hold on, I got to say this. Let me say this, because I do sound crazy right now. I started realizing all of the features that came in my head right now. I sound crazy. We're comparing this because now the conversation that I saw online after this whole battle was that, does this help Kendrick, if you didn't already see it this way, surpass Lil Wayne in the GOAT conversations for this era? And that was one of the arguments that you made, was that one of the features that Lil Wayne has is that world record, literal world record for the most features in a given 365-day calendar. So in the scope of using that as the top of the pyramid, he has more. He don't got Lil Wayne feature more. He's like Kendrick's right here. Very, very powerful, small set. 3 Stacks is a little bit higher on that bar graph, but that Lil Wayne bar graph is here.
I mean, I see you moving the goalposts. It's all good. I mean,
a little bit.
Because Wayne doesn't have the catalog that Kendrick has. You know what I mean? So a lot of these things are interchangeable with everybody, right?
Sure.
I'm just looking at Kendrick and everything that he's offered creatively, and looking at what's missing. Like, I just don't have a dominant feature. I would personally, I would love for him to do that. I hope he's inspired to do that now. I hope he's listening to little subtle things that people might be saying online. Like, oh, he's gonna go away for 5 years. Oh, well, he doesn't show up like the boy and drop all these features. I would love for him to be inspired by that and give us that as well. We know he's in album mode right now. He just signed his new deal. We know project. We know that there was a lot more songs made over this, 5-year period, this 5-year gap. Than these. We know that he's got at least 5 more joints ready for Drake. You never know.
If you're Kendrick, do you rewrite those songs and put them out?
No.
Or you keep those in the chamber just in case you want to start acting up again?
He's currently acting up now.
He is. I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done yet. I think he might let one more of them out, and I think if it falls anywhere short of what Drake's expectation is, he gonna be like, "We back in, we got it again." There's no way for somebody who is going through all the stuff that you pointed out. There's no way he's taking this, and he's not taking this well. He's still acting like nothing happened. He's still acting like, I've been going through some things lately, but I'll be back in a second, guys. It's like, no, this is not that. This is career shifting. One point I want to make about that feature run: how much more legendary would this make Kendrick's status if he were to go on a West Coast run of features first? He get on them Rimble features, some of the folks on there like Jason Martin. If he does, YG feature, if he does all these different folks that were a part of that show, Cuzzos, like the looks that you.
Osama, yeah. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Zoe, especially Zoe, I think they would make something crazy together. Zoe Osama would be crazy.
I mean, I think that's another critique that I've heard from people in Los Angeles after the battle too. People who are antagonistic or maybe skeptical about Kendrick's motivations for bringing everybody on stage. It's just a picture, a photo op. Yeah, are we trading features? Is that what we're gonna do?
Right.
Maybe, and who knows if he'll have them on, if he'll be on their albums or if he'll have them on his album. But absolutely, I think anything that gets more Kendrick in the marketplace.
I'm with it.
That adds up to a feature run. That's where we're at. That is literally the last thing that I can really say. Right. I think that there was a lot of questions as this battle started. There was a lot of people online saying, yeah, but Kendrick's not really good with the punchlines. Kendrick's not really good with the bars.
Right.
Kendrick doesn't really write fast. Like he's been striking criticisms off the list this whole time. I think the only thing left in his career is that feature run.
Right.
And throw in some radio station appearances. Just do some bars no one heard of. Just throw the mugs out there.
Hey, man, come to the company, man, you too, for a second. Hey, you know what?
Right.
Matter of fact, I don't even got to ask no questions. I just want to be another window in the Zoom like this.
Exactly. Right. I think that's the only thing left. And I hope that there is something that still pushes him the way that Drake pushed him. Right. And I mean that sincerely, because this is between Mr. Morale and these 4 songs, like these are transcendent expressions. Now, it took Drake and it took this beat for people to, I think, really discover and appreciate Mr. Morale. I love Mr. Morale. I'm high on it. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
But the same 4 songs on there that I skip, 4 or 5 songs on there I still skip to this day. It's not a knock on the quality of an album for me. But it is an expression of how deep and how visceral he went on that project, to where, I don't want to hear We Cry Together on a regular basis. I don't want to hear Mama I So Love.
I tell you, that song, sometimes he's so good at his job, Justin, sometimes he's so good at his job that it makes you uncomfortable in real life.
Yeah.
As a writer, I was cutting the line and I felt like a lunatic. No, F you too. It's like, if I was playing this out in my car right now, somebody would be like, oh, he's really going through some relationship issues right now. He banging this out loud. So to me, that's a testament to how great he is at his job as a writer. But there was a point that I was going to make that was talking about, people who are saying and being critical of, his motives in doing this. Here's 2 things that I would give a little bit of unique perspective on. One, as an artist in that moment, I'm an artist myself. In that moment, if Kendrick would have done a solo set, just himself, nobody would have said a thing. It would have been probably just as profitable, if not in the same area, right? It wouldn't have been so much of the unity and the experience we saw, but perhaps we see some in the audience. Who knows? He didn't have to have anybody on that stage, but he had folks on that stage who probably have never been in front of 20,000 people. So now try to turn him into the conversation of being a colonizer is insane. I've seen a lot of folks who are like mentioning that. Second thing I'll mention, for somebody who has met and had many conversations with Top Dog and Punch, if those are his OGs, right, which they obviously are, and their principles have been put upon him, that's not how they move as men. I see the kind of standards that they set. There's a reason why you don't see artists generally from Top Dog all on the internet talking crazy, right? And even even when you think about Schoolboy he'll say some things, but it's all within the respect and the code. First thing I saw when I first walked into the TDE studio to work with Absol and meet Ali was a poster on the wall, and it had, these are the code of ethics. It was the first time I seen that in any studio. $1 billion studio, it doesn't matter. Industry studio, never seen a code of ethics on the wall. So when I think of that, I don't for a second think to myself, oh yeah, they need all these West Coast artists to show his allegiance. No, he if you don't look at the lineage of what's already happened at TD, you don't have any questions about that. To me, those are questions that are usually raised by people who are not involved. And I understand. But Kendrick reached out to me during this battle, DM me. And very short, he just said, I appreciate you. I see what you're doing right now. And I said, man, I got to let the people know there's a bigger picture. And he said a few words I will never forget. He said, I said, you're going to bat for us. He said, you're right. It's spiritual. If you look at the next 4 or 5 videos, I kept saying it. This is spiritual. It's spiritual. I see it. I felt it, but I didn't put the words to it. And now look, I just saw a video of a church singing Not Like Us. It's getting insane. It's getting insane. So I wouldn't put that on him or his team at all, even though it is PG Lang now. Dave Free's another one of those, right? I've done a lot of work. When I did the cover art for Long Term 2 for Ab-Soul, had a lot of conversations with Dave Free. So it's like when you understand the people that surround him, that kind of behavior doesn't exist in that environment, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Curtis King. Wire, YouTuber, producer, rapper, all around maven. Where can people find you? And if there's something you want the audience to know, what might that be?
First thing, how appreciative I am of you existing in a space. I think I said this on my interview when you came onto my channel, but having your well thought out perspectives, your ushering in of the phrase, which I think to me that means Kendrick might have been watching your videos, cultural cachet. I think you bring in so many different thoughts into the space that are so needed. I love seeing the direction of your channel because it's inspiring minds, and that there's a lot of conversations that I think that in the name of professionalism, in the name of keeping things, I don't want to say PC, I'm not saying code switching, but some middle ground, at least for me. Like I remember my grandmother saying things like, when we go on this JCPenney, don't you embarrass me in front of these white folks. I remember her saying things like that. So then that part of it kind of made it into my psyche as I got into the internet. And so it kind of cleaned me up too much. And then I'm trying to say ask instead of ax. And it took so much from me. What I love about this battle was that it reminded me how important that is. And that's the connecting factor between me and so many people I love. And so I just want to say thank you for leading the way on that in this media space, for making sure that can't nobody pick up a microphone and be Justin. And that's something I appreciate, because you make me do extra homework whenever I'm doing my journalism work, because you're the pro, you're the legend in this. That's first of all. Second of all, CurtisKing.com is where you'll find everything from me. CurtisKing.bandcamp.com, and then also Curtis King TV. Usually if you just type in Curtis King, no matter what platform you're on, I'm pretty much on there. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Word up. It's all happening.